be a size 4 and single. While reading, I found myself at times shocked by the underhanded tactics of those who would oppress women or any underrepresented group of people. Some of the anecdotes made me laugh out loud, but more often than not, our history made me gasp, cringe, and weep. What was truly astounding was the boundless strength of the American woman. The tenacity,
awesome sign,
the veracity, and the solidarity. This gift from my mother was accompanied with, and I remember all of this. We discussed her memories of when women didn't wear trousers, when women were denied opportunities in the workplace, when a woman did not have control or input into her reproductive health, when there were those who were not allowed to vote, or more exactly, were presented with insurmountable obstacles to include violence in the voting booth. My mother said these were times when we fought, and we wept, and we cried, and we laughed, and we learned to love ourselves. The gift of this book armed me with this history, our history. Informing and empowering my consciousness, it lifted a veil. I started to really look at the current situation within the United States, and I began to ask questions. I asked myself, my mother, my husband, my local union president, Leonard Fern, my legislators, and pretty much anybody who would listen, do you see what is happening? Do you really realize what is happening? In September of 2011, at the AFL-CIO Next Up Young Workers Conference in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I facilitated a discussion on what I called the strategic deconstruction of progress made in the women's movement by current legislation, by weakening critical programs and legislation that protect our rights. It may not roll off the tongue, but it does accurately describe the current threats to the gains my mother so proudly recounted achieving. During this discussion, we talked about the expiration of the Violence Against Women Act, the legislation to limit voters' rights, the attacks to Social Security and Medicare, a general disregard for the Civil Rights Act by an alarming weakening in anti-discrimination laws by lack of decisive actions against violators, the ever-mounting attacks on reproductive health care, the weakening of Title IX, and of course the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court decision. I didn't have a big ask of my participants, but rather a continuous conversation, a continuous and constructive dialogue, and a promise to vote and make certain that those around us understand the incredible critical importance of voting. I only ask for a conversation and a vote. Since this discussion in September, the attacks have only grown bolder. We have proposals for laws with definitions of forcible rape and requires for sonograms and transvaginal ultrasounds for women who have to make the very difficult and personal decision of terminating pregnancies. We were subjected to inflammatory rhetoric from radio pundits demanding that a woman who wants contraception to be available through insurance is a slut, and that if insurance is going to pay for birth control, then her sex acts should be broadcast for everyone's viewing pleasure. There are an alarming number of definitive challenges to our rights in the voting booth, and as shocking as it may seem, Wisconsin has functionally criminalized being a single mother. I was introduced to this incredible Unite Against the War on Women movement on February 29th of 2012, and it occurred to me that this is it. This is the answer to my big ask from Minneapolis. The attacks by the rhetorical right are continuous and seem to come from an endless source of some moral justification. Unite Against the War on Women is a grassroots movement that brings together women, regardless of political affiliation, in solidarity. A movement that provides a venue for both sisters and brothers to denounce the current rhetoric and begin a productive, constructive, and empowered conversation. Unite calls us all to action. Today and here in Salem, across the United States and around the world, men and women alike will raise our collective voice in solidarity and strength to combat the oppressive, anti-woman, anti-equality political rhetoric that has taken hold of our nation. I saw a brilliant picture the other day, which brought me back to Gail Collins' book, When Everything Changed. It simply had an activist holding up a sign that stated, "I can't believe I have to do this again." All I can say is, sister, thank you for your continued activism. Wherever you are, we are standing here in solidarity with you. Also standing in solidarity with you is Oregon's incredible team of organizers and my dream team of feminist organizers, Celeste Carroll, Kathy Herman, Christine Whaley, Angela Zahava, Jeannie Fine, Janice Brown, Carrie Driver, Kendra Moon, and Nancy Campbell. For the past 8 weeks, to ensure these women have worked tirelessly to ensure our certain victory against those who are waging the war against women. Please give a warm welcome to our political and legislative organizer, Nancy Campbell.
Awesome sign. Women are people, corporations are things. Learn the difference. Corporations are not people. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
You have to get the other side too.
Oh, the other side?
Well, I can turn it around.
Oh, that's okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. There's a pin up.
And I remember going down to the South with someone as a teenager, and actually I was wrong. I didn't understand it. But I really can't imagine growing up in that situation. Margaret graduated down to the high school class, and initially what she did was money, which was a real abuse. She moved to Oregon in 1967. She started going to school. She went to Portland State University. She got a bachelor's in education. She went on to Oregon State and got a master's in psychology. She worked for 25 years as a counselor at Portland Community and founded Portland Community College's Community Skills Center, which is now called the Margaret Carter Skills Center. In 1984,
No, I don't have any tape. I have no idea where you get the tape at.
Okay.
She has been awarded the Elliott Human Rights Award. She was named Legislature of the Year by the National Black Caucus of State Legislators. She has been awarded the Jeanette Rankin's First Woman Award. Margaret did all this, and this is what flows in her head. She did all this, raising 9 children. That is her proudest achievement, along with her 26 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. Now, I don't know. I had 3 children, and I have 3 grandchildren. I don't know how she does it. Margaret Carter is one of the most amazing women I have ever had the privilege to meet. Without further ado,
That's funny. Awesome sign, dude.
Much as I'd like to move to be in the audience with you today. But good morning, Oregon, and thank you. Thank you to this great dream team of feminist women who had the courage to call us out today. And I'm going to tell you, I was thinking about what I want to say to you today. I don't want to say much to you because I don't have to. But to the men that are trying to govern our lives, I'm saying to you, these are our bodies and women, and a big sign across it says sole proprietor. Today, we came to shout, to scream, and to holler with voices raised, and not giving a damn about who doesn't like it.
Yeah!
We have a mental mindset that says we are not objects, nor are we a set of policies, but rather very proud Americans that have come to our state capitol to sound the clarion call for action. It must never happen again. To ensure it, the future of America is in the hands of not only those of us who have passed the 70 mark, but our daughters and our sons. Do we come this fight yet once again on behalf of their rights and women who have worked hard and long contributing to this great country that we call America. As women and those who love us, they get it. That's why this is an audience of very fine men and women and children here today. We ask you, government who want to make these kinds of changes, we ask you to look through new eyes regarding an old age problem of inequities within the healthcare system. You might find a great surprise if you were to read. And you would find that women's healthcare and reform is left up to women to fortify. Don't you let nobody make your decision. The beginning of the women's health movement, to no surprise, the healthcare system hasn't always worked in the best interest of our health, women's health. The healthcare system in its entirety, from the beginning, from the drugs, from the docs to the drugs that are dispensed on our behalf, is given way to curative research and the newest innovation. Our bodies, my body is 76 years old. There ain't nothing new about that. There might be new opportunities for research, but my body is the same and you don't own it. Yeah! Why not prevention.
Yeah.
But maybe that doesn't make you enough money. What about maintenance? What about primary health concerns? When I speak of women's health care concerns, I'm talking about mental health, pre- and postnatal care, child care, issues of hunger, female teenagers, contraception, sex education, perimenopause, and menopause. There you go. I'm concerned about the no insured and the uninsured.
Me too.
Safe schools, neighborhoods, and yes, our families. Women's health care issues are beyond abortion rights alone. And you need to get it through your head and your mind. And especially the radio commentators who don't understand the intellect of what women's health care is all about. I maintain that good, meaning comprehensive women's health care, is broader than the mere access to medical services. Let me hear you say stand.
Stand!
Let me hear you say stand.
Stand!
I don't ever want you to sit down again. With great pride and selfless contributions, do we make a commitment today to stand with the strong men and women of the 65th Congress, sorry I got that wrong, to hold strong to the cultural values and norms that has lifted so many people out of the bowels of poverty and the back alleys of America's shame at the political lack of integrity. I was there. I was there, and I let young women know I was there. It was the clothes hangers, lady. You remember that? Yeah. We were totally victimized by it. But many of us had no choice. Never again. Let me hear you say stand!
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 It is a moral imperative that we make a new commitment to all of the women who lost their jobs, who suffered cultural shame and work-life discrimination. For those of us who this day enjoy with hope and opportunity a life envisioned by great women before us. Great women like Barbara Roberts and Vera Cass and Norma Powers and many of the judges on the benches today. Those women stood up when it mattered. And I ask you today to do what? Stand!
Stand! Stand!
Never let it happen in your life again. This next generation should not have to suffer because women like that stood up for you and me. We must have the courage to speak out against the injustices imposed upon us as women during those years. I want you to do what?
Stand!
Do what?
Stand!
I ask you to join in with a vigorous voice of support, to vow to become involved with a movement that you must never, ever take for granted, the hopes and values of a generation 3 times removed. Our doubts, said James Adams, are traitors and make us lose the good we often might win by fearing to attempt. And I say, do what?
Stand!
We must never fear again. We must do what?
Stand!
For the most part, the United States sets the pace for the rest of the industrialized world. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, healthcare reforms' largest success occurred with the creation of what? Medicare and Medicaid programs circa 1965. And here we are. We sat down for a while, and we need to do what now? Stand. What do we need to do? Stand. We must never, ever sit down again. We must never throw down the towel. We must never be silent. We must never, ever give away our rights. I leave you with a quote from Mrs. Adams. Old-fashioned ways, she said, which no longer apply to changed generations or conditions, are a snare in which the feet of women have always become readily entangled. Keep up the good fight and do what?
Stand!
What?
Stand!
We must never, ever sit down again. And I want to teach you one song before we go. All right. this song says, you got some words, right? Okay, it says, we are soldiers in the army. We've got to fight, although we have to cry. We've got to hold up the blood-stained banner. We've got to hold it up until we die. That sound good?
Yep.
Here we go. We are soldiers. Sing now, in the army. We got to fight, although we have to cry. You gotta do what? We got to hold up the blood-stained banner. We got to hold it up until we die. We've got to stand up now. 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 One more time. Got to stand up now. We've got to stand up now. We've got to stand up now. We've got to stand today. Yeah!
Fuck yeah. What?
How about another round of applause for that amazing, amazing woman? Thank you. Thank you. I need to mention a few more people here today.
Some black
We
lady.
have, I'm going to be doing this throughout the program as people come up. We have amazing groups here standing in solidarity
What?
with us. But first I'd like to introduce our lovely ASL interpreter, Angelia Joy Anderson. We were opened by Patchwork Family. We have the Raging Grannies of Portland. We have the Marissa Mission. We have the Raging Grannies of Corvallis. I'm wondering if we'll have dueling Raging Grannies. United Grannies, there we go. We have Kendra Moon will be singing a song during the program, and then at the end she will be leading us all in a sing-along of I Am Woman. We have poetry being given by Maria Julia Sorrentino. And Jeannie Fine, one of our organizers, will be speaking to you about life as we know it. And now I'm going to give right back to Nancy.
The next speaker I'm going to introduce is Karma Corcoran. Karma is an enrolled member of the Chippewa Cree tribe. She is the Indian Law Program Coordinator at Lewis and Clark Law School and Board Chair of Red Lodge Prison Transition Services. She has a bachelor's in communications with concentration in conflict resolution and conflict communication, a master's in public administration, and she's working on her PhD in philosophy. I'd like to introduce you to myself in the traditional way today. My name is Karma Corcoran. I'm of the Chippewa Cree people. Big Bear is my great-great-grandfather. Little Bear is my great-grandfather. And Open Eyes Little Bear is my grandmother. And Four Souls is my uncle. I'm so fortunate to come out today and to see all of you. And I'm fortunate that I work for Lewis and Clark Law School in Indian law. And Lewis and Clark is dedicated to the issues of Native people and is respectful and honoring of the 9 tribes of Oregon and those Native people that live within our state who still have not gotten their federal recognition back. I'm also the board chair of Red Lodge Transition Services.
And we serve the Native American women incarcerated in the state of Oregon. We serve the men and the juveniles incarcerated in the state to a lesser degree because the women are our focus. We offer these women spiritual services while they're in prison. So we go in and we do sweat lodge and talking circle and smudges and feasts on special days. And we just recently completed a 3.5-month class called Healing the Sacred Who, where we serve 12 women that are considered incorrigible by the system. And we taught them behavior modifications and coping skills in the traditional way that will help them survive their incarceration and begin to build tools for that day when they get out. And when they get out, we are there. We offer them spiritual services, access to our community and our elders, resource referral, and I believe the most important thing of all is one-on-one mentoring. And because we're Native Americans, there is no end date. We don't say to our women, all right, you've got 18 months and then I'll see you then. I've been mentoring some of the same women for 5 to 6 years, and I'm mentoring 6 women myself right now. And it's that mentoring that gives us the statistic that 90% of our women have not reoffended. And it's great to see so many people here today in support of women's rights. And I'm here to remind you of a whole group of women who are often forgotten. And those women are the Native American women incarcerated all over this country. For example, in the state of Montana, where I come from, it saddens my heart to know that my tribe, the Chippewa Cree, is the most highly represented in the criminal justice system of Montana, both men, women, and also juveniles. With 6% of the Native women being part of the population in Montana, 25% of the women behind bars in the state of Montana are Native American. The largest majority of Native women are locked up between the ages of 25 and 34, with sentences averaging 40 months. The result is cultural genocide. And since the opening of the very first separate women's penal institution in this country in 1873 in the state of Indiana, Native women have been under cultural, physical, and sexual assault. Native women were housed away from white women. They were purposely given longer sentences because they were considered an inferior race. They were taught to cook, to sew, to clean, so that they might become servants and decent women once they got out. Working as I do with the women of Red Lodge, it's my argument that the Native women incarcerated in the state of Oregon today are under assault daily culturally. They are treated as inferior, we are overrepresented, and we are in during our childbearing years, and it is a modern form of genocide by the prison system and the overall thinking of people in charge in this country. And I'm here today to ask you to let us not forget or to abandon our sisters behind bars, our sisters of all colors. And I'll leave you with a Native American quote this morning. It is not until the hearts of our women are beaten and on the ground that we will be done. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So glad to see you here. I'm Kathy Herman, and this is Edgar. Why am I here today? I am here because I am tired of being marginalized. I intend to work tirelessly through November and beyond until our representatives represent us.
Yeah!
So can I get a chance? So, hey, hey, ho, ho. The hate and lies have got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
The hate and lies have got to go. Woo-hoo! I am proud this morning to introduce to you Barbara McCulloch-Jones. Barbara has been an executive director in the LGBTQ movement for more than 25 years. From lesbian healthcare to policy making, she has contributed to just about every element of the LGBTQ social justice movement. Barbara was the first out lesbian to run for public office in the state of Arizona. And Barbara continues to break ground for women today. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbara McCulloch-Jones.
Good morning, Oregon.
Good morning.
I hope you'll indulge me a sports metaphor this morning. I'm a pre-Title IX sports dyke. It's how I learned to organize. The most prized player in baseball is one that possesses what's called a triple threat. That means the player can run, hit, and field. They can do it all. I would argue that the pushback we see now in the war against women is in fact because women are that prized player. We are that triple threat that must be neutralized in order for the opposition to win the game. I have news for our opposition. Yes, women are not just a threat, we're a triple threat. Skill number one, we can run. We can run organizations, we run businesses and corporations, we run for public office, we run schools, churches, and we run our homes. Our take charge, run with it, can-do attitude is what brought us the 19th Amendment and Title IX. It's what brought us the Lilly Ledbetter Act. And just this week, it's what brought us the groundbreaking Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's unanimous ruling that charges of gender stereotyping are considered claims of sex discrimination under existing law. For too long, gender and gender identity discrimination has been a barrier to our collective success. As social justice movements evolve and intertwine, we have begun to realize those barriers are external forces trying to divide and conquer us on the path to our collective equality. Now is the time to see those divisions for what they really are: money-making, power-grabbing, and defamatory strategies designed with the sole intent to create a second-class, uneducated, and impoverished people. We can and must not allow these actions to continue.
Yeah, we will not allow it anymore.
We are people of action. Skill number two reflects our ability to hit the nail on the head, to work with precision, calculation, creativity, passion, and compassion, all of which clearly threaten and intimidate those that work to silence our voice. It was that tenacity that led Dr. Marie Akwai in 1893 to chase a man down the streets in the Dalles here in Oregon. Dr. Akwai was outraged over a pay dispute between her companion, Bess Holcomb, and Bess's employer, Baptist minister Reverend O.D. Taylor, at Wasco Independent Academy where she taught, who cheated Bess out of $100 of her pay. Back then, we did not recognize and rarely named same-gender relationships. Like so many women-loving women before them, Marie and Bess did not hide, but went about making change by the very way they lived their lives. They lived authentically and with integrity. Marie was one of the first women to graduate from the University of Oregon Medical School in 1903. She was arrested for protesting World War I. She was arrested with Margaret Sanger for protecting women's reproductive freedom. And she was given an Army accommodation for her work in organizing an Oregon medical team to assist in the 1906 San Francisco fire. Finally, skill number 3, our ability to play the field is unstoppable. Whether we are in the trades, a stay-at-home mom, a teacher, a preacher, or a candlestick maker, women have developed leadership skills that rival history's most notable generals. This gathering here today and across the country is testament to that fact. In 1997, Hillary Clinton said, and I quote, "We are here to advance the cause of women and to advance the cause of democracy, and to make it absolutely clear that the two are inseparable. There cannot be true democracy unless women's voices are heard," end quote. So I say to you, to us, the iron-jawed angels of the 21st century, we too can continue the rich history of our foremothers like Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Alice Paul, Lucy Burns, Maria Key, and Bess Holcomb, who more than 100 years ago set us on this path toward equality and brought us here today. We are women of vision and action. We are women who don't borrow from integrity for political expediency. Hold your power. Use it to lift us from poverty, oppression, self-doubt, and inaction. I leave you today with one challenge. Find a young woman. Teach her your history, how you found your power, and how you're using it today to make this a better world. Do it today, please. We cannot afford to wait another minute to grow many more players who are a triple threat.
Amen.
Another hand for our honorable speaker, Barbara McCullough-Jones. All right, we're here to be heard, right?
Yeah!
That's right, so let's get heard. I'm going to lead a chant with you. If you stand for justice, then raise your voice with might. When we say equal, you say right. Equal.
Right!
Equal.
Right!
Equal.
Right!
That's right. If we stand for justice and raise your voice with might, we say equal, you say right. Equal.
Right!
Equal.
Right!
Right on.
The next speaker I have the privilege of introducing is Secretary of State Kate Brown. One thing I didn't know about Kate, she was born in Spain. And I'm sure I have to ask her about that sometimes. But anyway, she grew up in Minnesota. She got her bachelor's degree in environmental conservation with a certificate in women's studies from the University of Colorado Boulder. Her law degree from Lewis and Clark, yes, with a special certification in environmental law. Kate practiced family and juvenile law. She taught at Portland State. And in 1991, she was appointed to the Oregon House of Representatives. She won the first 2 elections, and then in 1996 was elected to the Oregon Senate. And only 2 years later, she was elected the Senate Democratic leader And then in 2004, Kate was the first woman chosen by senators to be Oregon's Senate Majority Leader. And in 2008, Kate was elected as Oregon's Secretary of State. Yes. Now, this is the second time I've had the privilege of introducing Kate Brown. The first time was when she was a baby legislator. You remember that? Yeah. And I was the president of an organization, and we wanted Kate to speak about some new legislation. And she came over, and actually we had a great evening. I had a cabin over there, and she spent the night, and we stayed up all night talking and had a good time. And now I get to introduce her as Oregon's Secretary of State. You've come a long way, baby.
Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing?
Good.
Are you proud to be Oregonians?
Yeah.
Are you proud to be feminists? Well, I can't think of a better year to be out on the front of your Capitol steps celebrating suffrage. About 100 years ago today, many, many women and frankly thousands of men were working really hard to grant women in Oregon the right to vote. And Oregon voted on women's suffrage more than any other state in the nation. But in November of 1912, over 60,000 men voted yes, making Oregon the 7th state in the nation to grant women the right to vote. Well, as Nancy said, we've come a long way, baby, but we got a long way to go. So we spent 17 years in this Capitol working to require insurance companies to cover contraceptives. Was this fair? Was this right? Hell no! We fought for 34 years to make sure that gays, lesbians, transgender people, and bisexuals were not discriminated against the law. And it took us 34 years to pass that bill. Women are now paid 70 cents for every dollar that men make in the state of Oregon. My friends, this has not changed in 30 years. It has not changed. Nothing's changed in 30 years. Well, a few things have changed in 30 years. We can all wear pants now. And we wear them really damn well. But the stats are even worse for our sisters of color. For every dollar men make, for African American women only make 69 cents for every dollar. And for Latinas, it's a mere 53 cents. Is this fair? Is this right?
No!
Oregon has never seen a woman attorney general. We've never seen a woman state treasurer, and we've never seen a woman Senate president. Is this fair? Is this right?
No!
And across the nation, only 9% of women are mayors. Are we going to work to change this?
Yes!
And only 6 women are governors. Only 6. And less than 18% of women are serving in Congress. Is this fair or is this right? No! So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to fight like hell?
Yes!
Are we going to stand up?
Yes!
Are you willing to fight to make sure that we have a pro-choice president? I couldn't hear you!
Yes!
Are you willing to elect more women in office? I couldn't hear you!
Yes!
Are you willing to fight to make sure Congress
Attorney General Kate Brown.
Raging Grannies, get ready.
I'm from Southern Oregon, and I'm so happy to see you all today. I'm here because I have a granddaughter, and I know that the women who came before us lifted us, and it's up to us to lift the women who are coming after us. Be ready to lift, ladies. We got a heavy load, and we got to work hard. So, I'm here to introduce the Raging Grannies of Portland. They're going to lead us in some music. Let's hear it for them.
All here with us.
We're thrilled to be here and to see all of you here with us. We've got 3 songs for you. The last one has a chorus that we hope you'll join us in. All right.
Okay, we're going to need some help with this next song. Can you show me the U sign? The U sign. Okay, we'll call upon it. All right, we want to tell you all something. In 2011, in the Florida State Legislature, a representative commented during a floor debate that while the GOP would not regulate big business, it thinks nothing of regulating a woman's reproductive choices. Therefore, he suggested that to maintain control of her own uterus, a woman might need to incorporate it. He was quickly rebuked by his GOP counterpart for using the word uterus on the House floor. Can you believe it? The word has now been banned from the Florida legislature. Yes. 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 Well, the Raging Grannies have a little something to say about this.
Go, go.
If you're a Republican, it's okay to screw everyone, just don't say uterus. You send our kids to war while watching your investment soar, but don't say uterus. Taking bribes and using God as awful. That cats pay for your campaign, that's law. You can take our rights away and torture folks, that's still okay, but don't say that word. No fun for Planned Parenthood, you take all rights if you could, but don't say uterus. You think abortion is a sin, but what's that fetus growing in? Don't say uterus. Torture. We know where you were when and sirs, we'll say uterus. Sing it strong and sing it loud, it's part of us that makes us proud. So we'll say uterus. We're not ashamed to call our parts their right names. We're just ashamed of men who play these mind games. So end the war and be the poor, do what you were elected for, and shout out that word. Uterus, 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 uterus,
Uterus, uterus.
Everybody.
Uterus, 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 uterus.
Just the women. Just the men.
Uterus, uterus,
Help them out. Uterus,
uterus,
uterus.
uterus, uterus, uterus. Love you.
Last time, everybody. Slow it down. We love Thank you all. Thank you all. We love you too. The Raging Grannies love all of you all. We wrote this next song just for this wonderful event. Some of you have the chorus on paper. Everybody, please join us.
No one told us getting rights would be an easy road. People tell us, little girls, you're getting way too bold. Go back home and try out knitting little baby clothes. Raging grannies say, oh no. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Don't you let the old guard fool ya. Women are both smart and strong, entitled to a choice. For this we raise our voice. It wasn't all that long ago that women did not vote. The suffragists protested this and now we all can vote. But then they changed the voting district, fairness went astray. Raging grannies say no way. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Don't you let the old guard fool ya. Women are both smart and strong, entitled to a choice. For this we raise our voice. The governor of Wisconsin told the unions clear and straight, you people have no power to decide upon your fate. The people rose and now he faces recall from the state. Raging grannies say that's great. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Don't you let the old guard fool ya. Women are both smart and strong, entitled to a choice. For this we raise our voice. Women using birth control are sluts. Sexual harassment like this must be stopped, it must. Women have more problems getting longer, are you aware? Raging grannies say no fair. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Don't you let the old guard fool ya. Women are both smart and strong, entitled to a choice. For this we raise our voice. Why are contraception rights decided by the men? Like women are their property, the way it was back
Portland. A great one. I have a quick question for you. Thank you. How many here came on a bus? You all know that those buses were brought to you by the unions, right?
Yeah!
Yeah? Yeah? We've got a lot of incredible union activism out here, and they have been our biggest supporters. We have an AFGE brother from local 2308. I just wrote it down. 2302 from Kentucky who flew in. He's been organizing from over there, helping out with the rallies all over the United States. His name is Kim Clark. Speaking of unions, it is a distinct honor for me to present our next speaker. Following his service in the Air Force, Tom joined IAFF Local 43, Portland Firefighters Association. He served as Secretary, Treasurer, and ultimately President of IAFF Local 43, Oregon's largest firefighters localist, lobbyist, Vice President, and President for Oregon State Firefighters Council, International Association of Firefighters Field Representative, and Senior Policy Advisor to Governor Kulongoski until 2005, when he was elected by unanimous acclaim President of the Oregon AFL-CIO. He represents the Western states on the National AFL-CIO Executive Council. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to AFL-CIO Oregon President Tom Chamberlain.
Good morning, my sisters and brothers. You know, when I looked at your lineup of speakers today, former Senator Margaret Carter and Secretary of State Kate Brown and the others, I noticed I was one of two men speaking, and I got to tell you, it made me a little nervous. And I don't usually write prepared remarks, but today I did. And I want to thank you for inviting me to come and speak to you today on what is the symbol of power in this state, the People's House, on the steps of the state capitol. And as I prepared these remarks this morning, putting pen to paper, okay, get real, finger to key, I was watching television and reading the paper and scanning the blogs. You can see I'm a multitasker in the morning. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that there are some in America that want to turn back the clock. They want to turn back the clock to the end of the 19th century, where only those with wealth and power can afford the education to ensure the future for their children. An America that turns its back on poor and senior citizens and disabled folks. That attacks workers and their rights and the unions that represent them. And in state after state, we see legislation passed that deny citizens the right to vote. Let me ask you, what is more fundamentally American than the right to vote? These attacks are designed to do two things. One, move a corporate agenda forward. A corporate agenda that picks our pockets to give to those who have wealth and power. And two, to remove all political forces, any hurdle, any obstruction in their path to the implementation of that corporate agenda.
Boo.
And I get it. You deny folks of color and the poor the right to vote. You silence the voice of workers. You destroy progressive groups like Acorn, and the 1%ers are way down the road to success of implementing that agenda. But to achieve their vision of America, a backroom dealing an America where Congress is displaced by white men's social clubs. They have to go after the one group, the largest group, The group that votes consistently, the group that moves a progressive agenda, an agenda that cares for people, an agenda that puts people to work, an agenda that believes in fairness and equality. That would be you, my sisters. That would be you. Understand, you have the power to put this nation back on track. To elect a Congress where 31 senators wouldn't dare vote against legislation that prohibits abuse or punishes abuse of women. A Congress that funds education and health care. A Congress that wouldn't even breathe the word overturning equal pay for equal work. You have the power to elect sane state legislators. To believe that only women are responsible to make decisions about their bodies, not the government.
Yeah!
You have the power to return equity, fairness, and balance to this government. A government that takes care of one another, takes care of our people, no matter what your color, no matter whether you're rich or poor, whether you're a woman or a man, whether you're gay, straight, lesbian, bi, transgender, whether you believe in God or not. My sisters, make no mistake about it. There is a war on women. Don't believe what comes out of the lips of the Speaker of the House in Washington, D.C. There is a war. And we're seeing pitched battles in state after state after state. Pitched battles at the seat of power of our nation in Washington, D.C. And this election is a pivotal battle in that war. A war that basically could decide the future of this country, will decide the future of this country, and I dare say your fate and my fate. As in any war, there'll be those who speak about finding the middle ground. There'll be those who speak about peace. There'll be those who speak to armistice. My brothers and sisters, we will not lay down our arms until they agree to unconditional surrender. Together, we can forge a new America. But to accomplish that, we have to live and fight as if we're one. One nation, one people, one vision, one purpose. We are truly one. Let me hear you. We are one.
One.
We are
one.
We are
one.
Thank you very much.